Hey, you guys. Today I'm going to talk with you about how leaving your emails unread will help you have a better morning, a better day. Your mornings really set you up for success, and not checking email is a part of that. We are going to talk about that and really dive in. But first, my name's Chanel Nielsen. Welcome, welcome. If you're new here, I'm super glad to have you. Um, this is such a great topic, and I was listening to a podcast that I listened to called Intermittent Fasting, the Intermittent Fasting Podcast. And it's a fantastic podcast. If you're into intermittent fasting or want to learn more about it, definitely go check that out. The hosts were talking about mornings and how they both start their morning, and I found this so fascinating. The one gal says they say you shouldn't check your email first thing. And the other woman says, well, they aren't the boss of me. They can't tell me not to check my email first thing in the morning. And I listened again and I wrote down some of the reasons that these women went ahead and checked their email first thing in the morning, even though they say and they had heard that maybe it wasn't a good idea. Um, they said they do it because it helps them wake up in the morning. They already got their rest at night. They don't need to rest anymore in the morning. They're up. Let's check the email. They do it because they like it. They like checking their email. This is fun. This is something to look forward to. One lady, and both of them might have even said it would stress them out not to check first thing in the morning. Um, Another really interesting thing, they said it gives them a feeling of accomplishment to check their email first thing in the morning. And then she immediately followed that up by saying, well, I can't get to all my emails, but I kind of know what's coming and it sets me up for the day. Like now I know what I'm going to do today because of what I saw in my email. Okay, this is such a fun topic for me. And I was really, as I was listening, you guys know I've done a lot of podcasts, whether my own or as a guest on other people's podcasts. And and I listen to podcasts, but never have I been listening to a podcast so much that I wanted to just jump through the airwaves and like, oh, you guys, let me pipe in here. I want to talk to you about this. And so this is my answer for Jen and Melanie on the intermittent fasting podcast, and for any of you who might be in this same boat, because actually most people, depending on what study you look at, 80 to 95% of us are waking up to our smartphones, whether we're checking our email or we're checking social media. And it's not the best way to start your day, they say. And today I'm going to tell you why. So, three reasons why. First of all, when we're sleeping, what happens in our brain is we're in something called a delta state, delta waves in our brain. That's deep sleep. We're totally out, right? When we wake up, we get into a theta state, and it's kind of that dreamy, half awake sort of sleep. And from there, we transition into alpha, which is where we're awake but not processing a lot of info. Maybe we're still a little groggy. And then we get into our beta state, which is where we're at right now. Hopefully, I'm there, which is our wide awake state. Now, when you immediately get onto your phone, both because of the stimulation that's going on and things that you're reading, and because of the light, and because of what our phones do to our brains as far as dopamine, which we'll talk about later, what happens is it, bam, puts us right into that beta state. And so we skip the theta and the alpha state. We skip that slow and dreamy state. Well, you might think, who cares? Like, great, I want to be wide awake. I want to be jolted awake. Well, those brain waves have some really important functions for us. And there's a reason why we kind of dive slowly into, why we creep slowly into awakeness instead of diving into the deep end. So the morning time is the most fantastic time to tap into your subconscious. It's the most available that we can tap into those deeper feelings. We've been processing things in our sleep. We're able to really make connections that we wouldn't have been able to make otherwise, and things become clearer in that in between state. We have access to different parts of our brain and different ideas and creativity. So that's the first reason. We're skipping some important brain states when we jump right to our phone. Number two is when you get on your phone right away and you're immediately seeing what someone else wants for you, your time and your attention are taken from you. And you're freely giving it, right? But you're giving that to something else. What we want, what's ideal for the morning is to act and not to react, to create and not to consume. Our brain is primed to really, like I mentioned, be in touch with the subconscious, but also to create, to come up with new ideas. This is the best time if you do anything creative, which most of us do or could tap into that creative space, even if it's just journaling your own thoughts. You will find ideas and solutions to things that are happening in your life when you take the time in the morning to write that down. You'll realize the wisdom that was there for you, but you didn't always tap into it. That wisdom is there in our subconscious. And when it gets buried by other people's stuff, whether through email or social media, we aren't able to tap into it. And so getting up in the morning and just writing down your thoughts is one way to tap into that. Another way is meditation, which is basically just to sit quietly and listen to what is inside and to what insights that you have, both listening to your thoughts, being aware of your breath, being aware of the room, being mindful. That's going to set you up for a much different kind of day than what you're setting yourself up for when you immediately react. And that's something I've talked about before, and I really like to think about, because when you wake up in the morning, what I would recommend for you is that before you even go to bed the night before, you know what matters most to you in the morning. You know the things that you're going to spend your time on. You know what you really want to get accomplished for the next day. And when you have that plan, you don't need to check your email or check your social media to see what everybody else is doing. You know what you need to do. Now, I'm not saying never go on those things. We're on social media right now, right? Go and look at those at the appropriate time when you're ready for consumption. But when you begin your day, you should already have a plan mapped out of what matters most to you rather than letting other people's agendas into your world. And when you start your day with checking those things, that's exactly what happens. Okay, number three is distraction. You're setting yourself up for a day of distraction. So, like I mentioned, one of the hosts on this podcast said, well, I like checking my email. I think both of them said that. They like it, it's fun for them. Well, of course it's fun, because what happens is anytime, and this is true for social media too, when we check our email, and you guys, total full disclosure here, like I check my email way more often than I should. I don't check it in the morning, but I do check it way too much throughout the day. I check social media looking for those little likes, looking for that new inbox. Our brains like that. It's a little hit of dopamine. Dopamine is a reward signal in our mind. And the randomness of email or social media, that we might have a new like, that we might have a new message, we go, ooh, is there something new? And we open it, like it's like a game for our brain. Did I win? Did I win? Right? And you open it, and maybe there's a little something that gives you this little hit of dopamine. Now, there's nothing wrong with that per se, but what happens is we kind of can train our brain to expect that. And when we wake up first thing in the morning and we're like, what did I get? What did I get? We're setting up our entire day to be distracted, to need more of those hits of dopamine, to raise our levels for what we're going to need throughout the day, because our brain, we start on this cycle of, ooh, I want that little hit of dopamine. We get it. We want more. We want more. That's how our brain works. Those things that our brain likes, it wants more of. So, um, setting our phones aside in the morning and purposely giving ourselves some space from that, so that we can step out of that distraction hamster wheel that so many of us are in, is going to allow ourselves, it'll allow us that space and that focus that so many of us are lacking. Um, I try not to go on my phone for definitely the first hour, sometimes the first hour and a half, although I usually take it with me when I'm taking my boys to school, and then it's all over from there. So, what could you do that would help you to do something different in the morning? And what I would challenge you to do is this. It's not enough to say, okay, I'm not going to go on my phone in the morning. We have to replace that. What are you going to do instead? What could you do in the morning to really set yourself up to have a great day? Um, I'm going to invite you to head over to the link in my bio and get my free morning routine challenge download. That will help you to set up a really great morning routine. It's a phone free morning routine that will help you to just set up your day well. Really quickly, these are the things that I do in the morning that help me have a great day, help me stay off this dopamine hamster wheel and really be in the kind of brain state that I want to be in the morning. So I journal, I write down whatever comes to me. I have a few other journaling practices that I share in this free download. I read my scriptures, I pray, I do yoga, and I do meditation. And then I start the day, get breakfast for my boys, take them to school, and all the other things that are on throughout my day. But starting that day right really gives me that peace, that framework, that solid foundation to start my day. And so, if you are on your phone in the morning, I challenge you to try something different and see how it works for you. Let me know in the comments below, how do you start your day right now? And after hearing this, how will it be different? All right, thanks for being here, you guys. I'll see you later. Bye.